Pastor Ezekiel's church has also been closed indefinitely today, and I have reliably confirmed that Ezekiel Oduor was arrested today, the Thursday on 27th, in Mombasa, a day after he was grilled by the DCI. He was grilled on Wednesday, and of course, he is being linked with the controversial Pastor Mackenzie behind the cultic starvation to death by his followers. So that has emerged after multiple reports surfaced in media that Milele Funeral Home, which is also in Kilifi, the owners, or rather the management, was summoned, and the police wanted to unravel the truth behind reports that there are some people who are also members of his church who also maybe died and were taken to that mortuary. But like in the past, I think the one thing you can see that the flamboyant man of God has been really doing some activities, and it is no denial that he's a heavyweight in the Kilifi, in the coastal region. Last time he held a crusade here in Nairobi, in Kasarani, and I want you to look at this video here. The country was shocked by the magnitude and the number of people that attended that crusade here in Nairobi. Truth be told, even political leaders cannot pull such kind of a crowd. And we analyzed a bit of the religion being part of the revolution, or then if that number can be mobilized to get to the stadium under the guise of revolution, then that tells you on the level of emotional attachment to the religious messages that these fellows were actually sharing with their followers. And this kind even shocked the nation because the event was attended by the wife to Deputy President Rigathi, that is Dorcas, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, yes, and Pastor Pius Muiru, giving out and actually confirming that Ezekiel grew from his church. I think I remember Pastor Pius Muiru, when he was preaching over the radio, would be told to hold the radio so that I praise for you, those things. By that time, when we were young, we used to do them. Now, however, this event then, the arrest of this of Pastor Ezekiel Oduor is one that really shocked many, because what is really the interconnection? And again, is it about the connection? My clearly point was, are we trying to divert the attention? Are we diverting the attention, or we just want to extort money from people around in the names of doing investigation? Or what exactly is it? Because, and again, people are also thinking, does it just happen in a vacuum? What about it? I saw Kilifi governor, and I fully support Gideon Mungaro on this. Kilifi governor is saying, we cannot refer terrorism charges, confirmed terrorism charges against Mackenzie, because he's saying it will profile the county negatively as a terrorism zone. I don't know. Ruto said this man is a terrible terrorist. He's a terrible terrorist. Now, and he was being charged by leading people to starvation. I don't know, aiding them to their own death or something. But the governor is saying, let's get the right charge. Let's charge him. He should not be left scot-free. They should not be left scot-free. But let's drop the terrorism charge because it actually profiles the county negatively. I don't buy it. I'm not an expert into charging, or rather prosecutor. But let's just follow what it is. I think a bit of the terrorism push for me doesn't really hold a lot. Now, the questions that have been bothering me, and since this story emerged, there are questions that personally I think I would really want to get answers about. I know many are asking how, the 800 acres of land belongs to one person, or rather belongs to that Mackenzie. How did he even get it? How did he buy that ridiculous size of land by himself, it's something that it's really worrying. Now I understand that area has been subdivided into Berean, Bethlehem, Judea, and so and so. We're getting those ridiculous statements on how the same area. So it's a place where I think even by the fact that you've been subdivided, you're staying in Bethlehem, you're staying in Judea, the other one is Berean, the other one is Judea, the other one I don't know is where, Galilee. Maybe it is, look at that level of, look at that level, how that has actually been cultivated. Now, someone staying there, you would actually have a feeling of a perception or a fantasy that is staying in the biblical Galilee. Like those who are staying in a place called Bethlehem, those who believe that they are now staying where Jesus Christ was born, And so it's something that, but then I want to look at these questions that have really been bothering me about it. The number one question is this: can we audit the chain of the churches there? This church has branches in Nairobi. Even Pastor Ezekiel has branches here in Nairobi. And for them to have even pulled such kind of a crowd here in that stadium, I don't want to believe, you cannot convince me that was just members of that church from Mombasa. There are people that were just mobilized across the country. That kind of mobilization is not lightly. And so, if the cultivation of that doctrine of starving to death is true, that is what they were told, even though the man was saying, Mackenzie was saying, I did not ask anyone, I did not force anyone to fast. Then why is it only in Kilifi? Why is it not like the whole region? Let's take, for example, Legio Maria. In my place, there is Legio Maria is a very prominent religion there. Now, everything is uniform. Kama mnasikia, there is something called kanzo, the linen. I don't know, the white one is for some angel and the red one is for, I think there is one for Michael, there is a yellow one for, there is a white one for Mama, for Maria, and those things, you know them. Even if you walk to a Legio Maria church in Siaya, or you go to Godukweru in the South Nyanza area, it's uniform. It's the same thing. The Legio Maria in Trans Nzoia is the same as Legio Maria here in Nairobi. So if this is the same thing happening with this church, why is it that people are only dying in Kilifi? Or why is it that only those who are in Kilifi were put under it? That is why I'm looking at it differently. Kilifi is one of the counties that is really affected by the drought and hunger. Kilifi, there is a lot of problems in terms of drought and hunger. So these people stay in that place. Now, most definitely, we can look at it, and the state can lie to us and cover it as a religious thing, but it's a cultic religious message or teaching that also thrives in an environment of hunger, where people can't eat, not because even there is no food. By the way, if you look at the Manyatas they are staying, those people are not living very decent life, truth be told. I know that's not what everyone wants to talk about. Those people are not living very decent life, notwithstanding the fact that there are also those who are well-managed and well-connected, and people have problems that will still sought refuge from that man of God. But then, my question here is this clearly. If we have branches all over, why only Kilifi? No, that's it. What would have made this cultic messaging be a very strong point for me would be that he preaches, and preaching is done, and he has branches probably in other parts of the coastal county, and someone says, my wife came and fasted back home, even here in Nairobi, until he died. Makes sense. But this is just within a place. Why would people be caged somewhere? But the second question is this. The questions of trading of body parts. That has also emerged. Unconfirmed reports that maybe some bodies were recovered with body parts detached. The people that I'm seeing, they are already weak and dilapidated. So even if you are to extract any body parts from them, then you need those who are alive. I think you need them in healthy condition. The people that we're seeing, they are already unhealthy. And again, if you want body parts, then do you think it's just a whole of 90? Don't you think, who is the buyer? Who is the buyer? And if it is about buying, then removal of those body parts cannot be done by every Tom, Dick, and Harry. There must be medical experts involved in this. So, and again, and I think that's why postmortem should help us see. Are there people that don't have their, maybe some people that their body parts have been detached, so that also comes up. I will really be so much interested to look at how that would come to be. Now, surely, people cannot just die, and you're seeing people saying they're going to heaven. And you know the risk involved in it. I want to agree. Mackenzie has been a guest of the police station for quite a number of times, according to these media reports. So even by the mere fact that these people are dying there over some religious teaching, himself, he knows that those teachings are not good. So, and that was a risk. Someone cannot make such a big risk without personal fortunes. So the police should unravel, how do people benefit? Is it in the spiritual realm, or it is physical, or it is something that they get, some proceeds? Is it in the spiritual realm, or it is here? What are they getting? It is a question that will be very valid at this point to find out what is it exactly is going on. Because starving to death to go to heaven, you'll even ask, why do people want to go to heaven? Okay, so what's the urgency with going to heaven? This issue, according to me, is about vulnerability. It's about vulnerability. And the state intervention here is not even about Mackenzie. There is nothing, there is no problem, there is no difference between what's happening in Kilifi, that Shakahola place, and what's happening in Oduor, where people are going without food. That's it. That's when it's thriving. So let's look at it. I think it is also fine to listen to what the investigative bodies are going to say about maybe linking Pastor Ezekiel to it. But I can tell you that then, if it's taken that direction, then many heads need to roll. You want to tell me Pastor Dorcas attended the Kasarani rally not knowing, and they did not know, while the husband have access to intelligence? Something needs to happen. And I think the fullness of time, we'll have to listen to what Mama Ida said. We have to regulate the churches. Otherwise, we are exposing the population to dangers of unsuitable teachings. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That's my point.